Hey everyone, welcome back to another Mattel Jurassic World Dominion review. Today we take a look at the extreme damage Roarin Allosaurus. And also happy Dominion release day, at least for the US. Today is June 10th. Now this Allosaurus I've been looking for a very long time. I pre-ordered it way back at the end of February, and I seriously feel like one of the last people to finally add this figure to my collection. So yesterday, on my way to see the Dominion premiere in my area, I stopped at the local Walmart about 20 minutes before the movie started, and they had two sitting on the shelf. And I check my Walmarts pretty frequently. I'm there at least 6 times a week, and these things have not shown up at all. So I'm finally happy to cross this figure off the list. This is the last thing I needed from this first round of figures, and I have to say I am finally glad I have it. This thing looks absolutely fantastic, and I have not even taken out of the packaging yet. Now the extreme damage line is exclusive to Walmart's in the US. If you're still having trouble finding this figure, I'll leave a link down below to Walmart's site in the description. Now let's go over the package really quick before we crack this figure open. Comes in the extreme damage Dominion style packaging. Got the extreme damage logo down here, Dominion logo in the corner, Rexy in this corner. We got the sunset background with the telephone poles, yada yada. Turn it around, we get a nice picture of the Allosaurus and how that double dino damage works. And then over here we got a picture of the other current 3 extreme damage figures. I picked up the Dimetrodon and the Velociraptor. I keep seeing the Allosaurus, but you know what? I already have a couple from the Primal Attack Dino Rivals days, and I really don't need another one for my collection. I just keep passing on it. Maybe if they ever go on clearance, I might pick that one up. So that will do it for the packaging. Let's crack this thing open and take a closer look. And let's start with this 360-degree view of the new Allosaurus. This is the type of Allo I've been wanting from Mattel for a very long time. I think this is the 5th version of their Allosaurus, and this one blows all the other ones out of the water. This is a very large figure, and it is beautifully sculpted. Lots of nice scale detail all over the figure, lots of scars. The paint apps are pretty simple. It's basically just one color for the pattern on the body, but it looks pretty close to the coloration of the Battle at Big Rock Allosaurus, which is clearly modeled after. The teeth are all nicely sculpted. This is just a really impressive figure. It shares the same proportions as the previous release Raw Strike Allosaurus, right down to that really weird looking foot on the hind legs. That's just always looked awkward to me, but I can easily overlook that because this figure is just really impressive, and the double dino damage action feature works absolutely brilliantly on this figure. So yeah, really happy that I finally got my hands on this figure. Now for some measurements. This figure, if you measure along the curve of the tail, is 18 inches long, or about 45.75 centimeters, and just about 6 inches tall, or 15.25 centimeters to the top of the head. So I have 2 size estimates for a Jurassic World style Allosaurus. The first is the male. They are just over 34 feet long, or 10.4 meters. I'll put this figure in the 122 scale range. And the second measurement is for the female, which is just under 40 feet long, or just over 12 meters. That'll put this figure in the 126 scale range. And now let's zoom in and take a look at some of the finer details on this figure, starting with this beautiful head sculpt. This whole figure from top to bottom is just decked out in beautiful scale detail. Definitely one of the nicest textured figures from Mattel, in my opinion. And let's take a look at that noggin. The eye is painted bright yellow with a black pupil. The whole head is colored in this dark navy blue. You do have some of the light brown grayish color on the side of the cheek. The teeth are painted a nice off-white color. Inside the mouth, you can see the teeth are nicely painted. And then in the tongue, I love the tongue on the Allosaurus, just painted that dark blue coloration. I keep a lot of blue tongue skinks, so I'm always a sucker for a figure that has a blue tongue on it. The top of the jaw and the gums are all cast in nice glossy pink plastic. And let's take a look at the head from the front. This is a big figure, so it's like hitting the back of my studio right now. Get a little bit of binocular vision. The head crests are all nicely sculpted. Lots of nice scale variation all over the figure. Like I said, this thing is just absolutely beautifully sculpted. Even the lower jaw has some nice texturing on it, and that's me activating the double battle damage feature. You have this nice row of spikes starting at the top of the neck that goes all the way down the body, stops right here with the button to activate the roaring sound is. I guess they don't want kids, you know, pinching their fingers on the spikes, even though they're kind of rounded, they really don't hurt that much. And these go all the way down to the very tip of the tail. Along the back, you do get those crocodile-like scoots, but those don't really bother me. They actually look really nice on here. It's just a nice transition from these small pebble-like scales to this larger, like armor-like scales all over the back and tail. Going down to the neck, you have some nice folds and wrinkles with all that fine scale detail. Going down to the arms, nice muscular, powerful looking arms. Kind of wish the hand claws were painted. Just spend like 2 more cents, Mattel. Just paint the hand claws. It makes your figures look so much better. You can see all that dark navy blue all over the figure, and then it kind of has like this like runny wash. Almost looks like a mistake, but it was definitely on purpose. You can see it on the thighs and on the back of the leg, and same thing on this side. It's a little bit more pronounced on the other side of the figure. I really don't mind it. I just wish it was a little more you know, symmetrical on both sides. You have more of it on one side of the figure than the other. Just splashes of blue here and there, and then going down to the body, you get some nice scars all over this figure. And then going down the hind legs, nice muscular looking hind legs, more of that dark navy blue, some more scarring, and then you have that really funky looking hind foot. That's the only thing I don't like about this figure. It just looks so unnatural, but other than that, nicely done. Nice glossy black paint on the toe claws. If you remember the Battle of Big Rock one, they only painted the top of the claws, and they did not paint the bottom, so I guess that's where all the toenail budget went. They didn't paint the bottom. They could have easily painted the hand claws. And then look at this. We actually got paint going onto the tail. You know, very rare for Mattel figures to, you know, paint the tails, you know, past the hind legs. So that is nicely done. So yeah, really like this figure. You got more scars along the tail and on the other side of the body. So this Allosaurus looks like it's been through hell. Yeah, really happy with this thing. This thing is just absolutely impressive. Just love the texturing of this sculpt. Absolutely beautiful looking. And before I forget, right here on the base of the neck is the DNA code for those of you that want to scan it into the Fax app. And now moving on to articulation. Pretty basic articulation on this figure. Arms can move forwards and backwards. They are on a hinge, so you can swing them out. Going down the hind legs, they can move forwards and backwards. You do have a locking point to keep them in that neutral position. You do have some articulation at the ankles to help with stability. You get a nice hip pivot, and the tail is on a ball joint, so you get up and down movement and side to side and 360 degrees of rotation. And this figure does have electronic roars. You just want to press this button on the back right here, and you get some nice Jurassic World Allosaurus roars. The button's a little soft and squishy. It feels almost like the what's it called? The Scorpius Rex action feature, where the button was just kind of like squishy and really not crisp like it is on some of the old Roarin figures, but really not a big deal. And then right here is how to activate that double dino damage. You just tap it right here, and you expose the rib cage, and the rib cage will actually flip up and click into place, and you get that nice soft squishy inside. I absolutely love it. They did this kind of similarly with the battle damage Albertosaurus. It's nice to see this feature make a return. It is much more fun than that like tumbler they have on the smaller battle damage figures. I just love how this works. I hope they incorporate this double damage into more figures in the future. And now moving on with comparisons. First up, here's one of the human figures. Here it is with Kayla Watts. And after seeing Dominion, she is definitely my favorite new character introduced in Dominion. Really liked her. And next up, here it is with the other two Battle at Big Rock Allosaurus. You can see this new extreme damage one absolutely dwarfed these two figures. This one right here was the first one that came back out way back in Dino Rivals, and this is the newest Roar Attack one. This one came out right before this extreme damage one was announced, and if I knew this one was coming, there's no way I would have picked this one up. I really did not like this figure, other than is much better stability than this weak ass piece of crap figure. That thing, I'm surprised it actually stood this long during this part of the review. This thing had a severe quality control issue. The legs were extremely loose and it barely would stand up. But yeah, this one blows all the other Allosaur figures that Mattel has put out away by a mile. And next up here, some of the extreme damage wave mates, the Velociraptor and the Dimetrodon. And next up here it is with some of the Hammond collection, the Baryonyx, Parasaurolophus, and Velociraptor. I'm sure it's a matter of time before we get a Hammond collection. Allosaurus, the line is proven to be really popular. It was definitely the right move to fix all the problems with the Amber collection. And next up here it is with the Tickle Chicken, the Therizinosaurus. And lastly, here it is with Rexy, and Rexy towers over the Allosaurus as it should. So final thoughts on the extreme damage Allosaurus. I really love this figure. Yeah, it's really big for an Allosaurus, but you have to remember, in battle in Big Rock, the Allosaurus was absolutely massive. So it's finally nice to get a figure that represents the size of this animal, how it appeared in that short. And it's just a beautifully detailed figure. I just love all the sculpting and texturing all over the body. The paint job is simple yet effective. The double dino damage works great. You know, has a roar feature. This thing is definitely worth the 30 bucks. I am very happy with this figure. And like I said at the beginning of the review, I end up finding this figure at Walmart. Retails for just over $30. If you feel like ordering one online, I'll leave a link down below to Walmart's site in the description. So that will do it for the review. Now that Dominion has been fully released, I'm sure all the Wave 2 stuff should be showing up relatively soon, and I can't wait, but my wallet definitely can. Still waiting on that Namu Parasaurolophus. Hopefully that thing shows up. It is moving slowly through the mail system, so be on the lookout for that review. And in the meantime, when it gets a little bit slow, I'll be reviewing some older figures, so stay tuned for those. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously, and it's greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.